All right, Brandon, just take us through that final shot there.
Coach basically drawed up a play for me to just have isolation at the top of the key. And he just basically just said go to work. So that's a move I practice a lot every day, so it wasn't really that much pressure on it. So
looks like you were getting a little frustrated there leading up until the final shot. How were you able to keep your composure there?
Just like our team, like our coach emphasizes next possession. So I don't really try to. In the past, I kind of hung on every bad mistake I kept doing, but now I'm just get to the next play. So it's all good.
What does that say about your leadership, being able to take over a game like that?
Like I said earlier, I just try to do whatever it takes for my teammates. Whatever, if they need a push, I'm here to do it. Like whatever they need me to do, I'm just here. So.
How important is it to get a bounce back win after falling to Oakland and now beating these guys?
It's definitely a momentum boost, something that we needed because the past few games we played somewhat decent, but had multiple mistakes and all that. But it's definitely a boost for momentum for us, though.
What was said in the huddle there leading up to the last couple possessions there?
Just keep our calm, keep our composure. Basically just do what we do every single day. Every practice, we practice like different times of the game like that. So it wasn't really no pressure. Everybody on the floor was pretty much composed. So.
What did you think Youngstown did to kind of keep up with you guys tonight?
Youngstown, they're definitely a good team. They doubled down on me a lot whenever I caught it 15, 18 feet. And that they was forcing our guys to knock down shots, which I'm 100% confident with our guys shooting shots like that. So we just had to step up as a team, and we definitely did tonight.
It was a big shooting slump during the second half. What kind of things were said to keep everybody motivated and keep everybody shooting with confidence?
Just keep shooting the ball because we shoot 1,000 shots a day, so we all got confidence in each other to make shots. Like I see BR just knocking down 100 threes a day, Mike knocking down 100 threes a day, so we all just give each other that boost when if a shot not falling for the first time, keep shooting it. So,
shortly after halftime, I noticed some of the fans that had been leaving, and so told the guys, let's ease up, make sure we keep the fans in the seat. Let's make this game a little bit more interesting than what it was, And so, what a heck of a ball game! Really exciting, especially for the good guys, here today. Fans were treated. They helped us a lot. And I was really, there's a couple of things that really jumped out at me. Number one, we had talked before the game a lot and over the last couple of days about how we needed other people to step up, and Bjartis and Ralphie had really good games, other than just Brandon, Mike, and some of the guys. So they had some really good games, and it was good for them to see the ball go through the hole. And then the other part of things is, we got 7 down with somewhere around 5-ish to go, and we didn't buckle. We did a good job. We kept the ball in front of us. We should have been doing that the whole game. They've got a team I really like. Youngstown's team. They're a physical team. They've got guards that can really drive the ball, and so I really like their team, and so it's a really good win for us. That's a team that's going to win a lot of ball games.
What did you tell the guys going into that game-winning bucket?
Well, we set up a play. I thought I was considering having to clear out for Mike. Letting him go. Number one, earlier in the year, we had, and in some situations in practice, when we practiced late game, we had taken that shot too early. We left too much time on the clock. That obviously was not the case this time. But I thought about doing it for Mike. They had a bigger guard up on him, or they had been guarding him with a bigger guard. I thought about bringing a ball screen up for Mike, but I didn't want him to trap it. As well, so I liked what Brandon had been doing during the game, and so we ran a little ISO for Brandon. Brandon came up, caught the ball, faked a handoff. Brandon likes to go right, spin back left, so we cleared out the right-hand side of the floor for him and let him go to work. He made a heck of a play. That was a heck of a move.
A few possessions leading up to the final one, Brandon, the shots just weren't going. You could tell it was starting to get him a little frustrated. What did you tell him, if anything, to calm him down?
It was really just him. I mean, it's one of those things, I mentioned on the post-game show, we have, for whatever reason, in my tenure here, we have not had great starts. Our Novembers and Decembers have been okay, here and there. Last year was different. Last year, with all the injuries, I almost take that one and throw it away because I know what happened there. But our Januaries, mid-January to late January and February and March, we've improved a lot. And you get to a point where the guys just have to do it, and you got to leave them out there to do it. You got to let them make shots. You got to let them miss shots. They got to feel the pain of losing. It's got to propel them, into working harder, And I was really pleased with our guys' effort there. And Brandon, he's a guy. He's going to get a lot of shots. He's going to make some. He's going to miss some. But from a confidence standpoint, you got to keep going to him.
How big is it to get a bounce back win after falling to Oakland?
Yeah, it's huge. It stops the skid for us, here, and we keep playing team. This is the kind of team, Oakland and Yale. Those are the kind of teams that have caused us problems. Really big, thick front lines. Here's another team that had some big, thick dudes. It seems like every time we turn around, we're giving up, 25 to 40 pounds in there some. So, we battled. They got us on the offensive glass some there in the second half. That's when they made their run. But I like the way we battled in the first half. And, at some point in time, you just got to get the win. That's the only thing that feels good. And that's what happened today. There's plenty of things for me to complain about, on film when we get ourselves back together, after finals this week. But, in this, again, we've got to gain some consistency here. We're not consistent right now with everything, with effort, concentration. It's not just shooting. We've got to get consistent everywhere. And when we gain that, I think we have a chance to be a pretty good basketball team. If we don't do that, we can lose leads. Whether teams can score on us in a hurry, they can go on 10-0 runs in a hurry. If we lose concentration or effort or execution, any of those areas, we got to keep our upward trajectory as we have. We've got a month before conference play starts, roughly a little less than a month now. We just got to keep our upwards trajectory towards improving and getting ready for conference play.
What does it say about the resiliency to fight back after being down late in this game?
Yeah, that was probably the two. Like I said at the beginning, the two things that I was really pleased about was the fact that we had some other guys step up. And it was good to see Biartis knock down shots. Huge three there late. He knocks them down early, but then his three there late was massive for us. And I was happy to see that. I was happy to see Ralphie. Ralphie's got a really nice, smooth game. I was happy to see those guys play well. And then the other part of it was to show some toughness when we had not shown toughness. Youngstown took it to us there in the middle part of the second half. Early in the second half, we kind of hung in there, and then in the middle of the second half, they really went on a run. And then we kind of planted our feet, made a stand, really guarded them a lot better, rebounded the ball well. Kids showed some toughness. We got to have more of it, and it's got to be there all the time.
So you guys came out very, very intense and showed a lot of effort in the first half, and like you said, in the middle of the second half, kind of faded off a little bit. So how does that consistency thing work in terms of making sure that it happens every play and every night? Yeah,
the film don't lie. That's an old saying, and they're not going to like what they see when they see themselves on film during that stretch. And we had some guys make some mistakes that don't normally make them. Jason Whiten's lost a guy, for a layup. They had a back screen that we're supposed to stick on, and they got a layup out of that, and we didn't fight through it, but we also didn't stay at home and guard the basket on that. Some things that we know what to do, we didn't communicate it. We have a little bit of an issue when our defense goes to the other side in the second half. When it's in front of us in the first half, our guys talk pretty well, and the coaches, and their teammates can talk them through things. They see it, they yell it out, and they help. When it goes to the other side in the second half at home, or it doesn't matter. We have not played as well. We got to do a better job of talking. I've never seen a team that talks well that isn't intense. And I noticed it in the first 4 minutes, and then again in that middle part of the half you're talking about, where we just started going silent, and that's when Youngstown went on a run. So it's really a matter of film.
So Rafael Cruz Jr., he had 15 of 17 bench points production. How is there a possible way to make sure that there's more production coming off the bench?
Well, we've had a lot so far. I mean, we've had more production coming off the bench this year. Now, it's not hard because we had a really bad year last year and all the young guys. But Jared Prinny normally scores a lot for us off the bench, brings us that punch. Youngstown did a really good job on him. I think we still have to do more to establish Titus and Chase, whether it's off the bench or whether it's starting. We have to do more to establish those guys down around the rim and throw the ball inside to them. I think when we do that, it doesn't matter which five you put out on the floor. Balance is critical, and I don't care where it comes from, whether it's starters or bench. We have to have balance, and so you're right. I mean, we do have to get it, but again, in the past, Ralphie has got some points. Jared Prinny has got some points off the bench. William Boye Richard here and there, has given it to us. So we've got to get some guys. Chase every once in a while has given us a little bump, so it'll help us. I liked our rotation tonight. We had to go some small ball there late with Brandon at the 5, and Jason Whiten's at the 4, and that was the lineup that seemed to be working for us with Biardis and Ralphie, Mike and Jason and Brandon out there. So we kind of went small during that. I was worried about it because of rebounding. But we also were able to get some stops, keep the guys in front of us, and then get out and run. And we got some fast break buckets out of that.
Coach, is there a way to schedule more Horizon League teams? Because Brandon Johnson's averaging 18.5 and 15.5 rebounds against those teams. One, talk about that, and then two, just talk about, just his play the last couple games.
Yeah, I mean, the Horizon League in itself, it makes sense for us. It's in our geographical footprint. I mean, the Horizon, the Valley, and the MAC. There's 3 good mid-major basketball conferences there, and all within driving distance. So from a budget standpoint, from a travel standpoint, not having to get on another airplane and miss flights or take terrible flights. We've been on a couple, a little bumpy. But not having to do that and just get in a bus, it just makes sense for us, like Milwaukee and Youngstown and Oakland. In terms of Brandon, you see what we were missing last year, it took him a little while, but he completely trusts his body now, and trusts the knee and loses himself in the game. And when Brandon plays free, and he makes plays, and he's really slippery down there. I mean, he can spin. He's got a lot of up and under stuff, where he just kind of gets angles on guys down there. And he's a tough matchup. He knocked down the 3 tonight as well. Does enough of that to keep somebody honest. I don't want him doing that a lot. We hit 1 and then we're like, okay, good. And then the next time he pulled again, I'm like, oh, no. Let's not get carried away there. So, with the play he made at the end of the game, that's Brandon's game. They doubled him a lot, and we had to change what we were doing with the double. And in terms of how we attacked it offensively, we had to change it up a little bit, give Brandon an easier pass out of it and get it ball swung. And when we started doing that, they stopped doubling him. So the fact that he got some single coverage, Brandon's pretty dang good if he gets single coverage in the post.
Youngstown State, they played pretty good defense
Really
throughout
good.
the game, and they played a lot of help defense as well, which means your players made a lot of great plays that was based on IQ. Would you consider that would you consider your team a great IQ team?
It all depends which 4 minutes we're talking about, which players you're looking at. Now, the guys that were out there, I mean, Brandon's a very good passer. When you can normally tell IQ is when you're watching away from the ball. If you really want to learn about the game of basketball, don't watch the ball, watch what goes on away from the ball. And, whether or not somebody's setting good screens or setting their man up or cutting offensively, defensively, whether they're in help defense, or whether they're just playing I got my man defense. The guys that just play I got my man defense, that's what's going on in the rec center, and Noontime Basketball Association, NBA, with the old guys, the Ben Gay League. All right, so that part of things is Ralphie is one of those guys that has a really high IQ. Bjartis plays very well by instinct, and Ralphie sees the game really well in front of him. So does Jared Prinny, and then Brandon's a very good passer out of the post. And he sees the game, and he's improved so much. Earlier on in his career, when he would get double like that, he only saw the two guys in front of him that were trapping him, panicked a little bit. Now people double him, and he sees through the two guys, and he only sees the open looks, and he's able to make the play. He's able to make the appropriate pass. So. There are times we're pretty high IQ, and there are times we can be pretty silly at times as well. We get a little too carried away every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm happy with where. And also as evidenced by turnovers. Turnovers also normally indicate somewhat IQ. We had 5 turnovers in our last game. Tonight we only had 8. We try and keep our turnovers under 10. So we're a lot better with the ball now.